Lipsmackin' Campin' is brought to you by MSR Stoves and Cookware, makers of the legendary Whisperlite stove and the award-winning Reactor stove system. MSR has been fueling outdoor adventure for over 40 years.
Hi, I'm Tim Connors. Welcome to another episode of Lipsmackin' Campin'. Today I'm going to be talking about choosing the right backpacking stove. There are many options available on the market. In fact, the choices are bewildering. So what characteristics are we looking for when choosing the right stove? And why is the choice so hard? Well, it doesn't need to be. The first rule of thumb is to consider how you cook and how you like to cook, and then match the stove to your preferred method of cooking. So let's go ahead and review some of the designs that are available, and I have a wide array of cooking gear here. First off, the thing to realize is that there's three types of fuel that are available on the market, and that's really corresponds to three states of matter. There's solid fuel, liquid fuel, and gaseous fuel, and stoves accordingly. So let's start with solid fuel. Here's a model that I really like. It's burns solid fuel tablets. They go in the base. Using one tablet, you can generally boil about a cup, half a pint, and it takes about 10 minutes using a solid fuel tab. And that'll be enough water for you to rehydrate your meal and have a little extra hot water available afterwards for a cup of coffee or tea. That pretty much sums up the type of cooking that's available using this method. You're not going to be doing any frying. Your options are a bit limited in what you can do. And of course, it's a small quantity of water that this type of stove that can heat, and therefore you can't use it for large group cooking. Even more compact and even lighter are the alcohol stoves that are available on the market. This little guy weighs about an ounce, just pretty amazing. Burns denatured alcohol. It does not burn under pressure, and so because of that, it doesn't have a really high heat output. So like the solid fuel tablet stove, you're going to be only able to heat small quantities of water. You won't be doing any frying on this model, and you'll be limited in types of foods that you can prepare, as with the solid fuel stove. We'll go ahead and move into more of the main line of liquid fuel stoves. We'll start out with a new model from MSR. It's the Whisperlite Universal, and this not only burns liquid fuels, a range of liquid fuels like white gas, unleaded fuel, kerosene. It also will burn isopro butane, so it will convert into a propane burner as well. Very flexible stove, puts out a lot of heat. Other models, liquid fuel models, there's the Dragonfly, which has been around for some time, and that burns even more types of fuel than the Universal, and diesel and jet fuel as well. And so no matter where you're at in the world, you'll find fuel available for these types of stoves. Nice thing about the Dragonfly, I want to point out before we move on, is that it has a really wide base, and so it can hold pots like even as large as a Flex 4, which is about as large as a type of pot as you might pack for the trail in a large group setting. Other members of the Whisperlite lineup, this is the Whisperlite International, and that unit's been around for some time, so that's a multi-fuel stove. And then of course the venerable Whisperlite, the baseline model that burns white gas. This stove has been a favorite of ours over the years. In fact, here I have in my hands the two Whisperlites that we brought into our marriage. These guys are over 20 years old. They do require occasional maintenance to keep them working well. They are very dependable in the field. You will want to bring a maintenance kit along with you for the occasional issues that you might have, and they do require some attention, for instance, to the seals on fuel bottles. You'll want to replace those every year or two so that you don't have a seal rupture. Okay, moving into the isopro butane line of stoves, also have a few models here from MSR. We'll start with the Pocket Rocket, which only weighs about 3 ounces, and this just screws right onto the top of a canister of isopro. And then the pot supports flare out and will handle a moderate-sized pot. You'll see that the spread on the supports aren't as wide as, say, for a liquid stove, so you can't get quite quite as large of a pot and use it in a stable manner with this type of stove design, and that's something to keep in mind. The newest member of the MSR IsoPro type stove lineup is the Micro Rocket, which I have here. It's the lightest model. It weighs about 2.5 ounces. It's also the most compact in the way it folds up, which the Pocket Rocket does not do. It's not get quite that compact, and it stores in this type of volume. See, it's very, very compact. It's smaller than the solid fuel stove setup I showed earlier. Micro Rocket also comes with a piezo starter, which is handy. And finally, an IsoPro lineup from MSR is the WinPro 2. And the reason why they call it the WinPro, and this is a really important point, the fuel canister can be mounted remotely from the burner, like so. And a windscreen can be put around the stove to protect it from the wind. You cannot do that with the little compact models that fit on top of the canister. You can't wrap a windscreen around the stove because it can trap heat and cause the canister to rupture, and obviously that would be a bad thing. Finally, important type of design, it's somewhat different than the others, it is the reactor type stove. The way that the stove is designed is to put heat from the burner head directly into the pot bottom, and the pot is designed only to be used with this type of stove, and the stove head is only designed to be used with this type of pot. So it's sold as a system, and very, very efficient. All that heat goes directly into the pot. You see the vent holes here. It makes it very, very wind resistant. You can cook in the rain as well, and it puts out a tremendous amount of heat. IsoPro stoves tend to be very low maintenance, very dependable. There are no components that soot up because the fuel tends to burn so cleanly. So great dependability. They also have excellent simmering capability. I hope this helps you make the right choice. Remember, that is personal. Get familiar with the different the stoves that are available. Match them to your favorite method of cooking. Usually not uncommon that you'll want a couple of stoves for different scenarios. We'll look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Lip Smackin' Campin'.
For hundreds of mouth-watering camp recipes and invaluable information for making your next camp trip memorable for all the right reasons, check out Tim and Christine Connor's best-selling series of books. For more information or to purchase books, visit lipsmackincampin.com.